Good morning, friends. So today we are doing 9.2 and 9.4. We're going to be working with equations, tables, and graphing. So I have a couple of directions here for you. The way that we're going to do this is step one, you're going to write out your equation. Step two, you're going to plug in the value for x to get the missing value for y. And then step three, you're going to graph the relationship on a table. So if you guys want to go ahead and set up your math journal, you should have it set up similar to this with a table, some graphing paper next to it. Sorry guys. And then some more graphing paper, and then this table right here. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first example right here. So like I said, so you're going to want to go ahead and take your table. You want an input and an output, and then you want an x value and a y value. Okay, so like in your assignment today, you're going to be given an equation. So here's my equation right here. It's y equals 2x. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to pick some values for x. You can decide what the value is that you want it to be. I encourage you to pick easy numbers to graph. Like 1, 2, 3, like smaller numbers. I mean, technically you could do big, huge numbers, but you do want smaller numbers. So I'm going to pick 1, 2, and 3 for my numbers. Okay, and so so step one, you're going to write the equation. So I'm going to rewrite it as y equals 2x. Oops. And then I'm going to plug in the value. I'm going to plug in the value of what I put in for x. So here I picked 1 to be the value, so I'm going to rewrite it as y equals 2 times 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve it. So y equals 2 times 1 is 2. So in my table up here, I'm going to put in 2 for the value of y when x equals 1. So I'm going to do this again with y equals 2x. I'm going to plug in my next value for x, and my next value is 2. So I'm going to rewrite this as y equals 2 times 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve. So y is going to equal 2 times 2, which equals 4. So when x equals 2, y is going to equal 4. And then finally, I'm going to do it with my 3. I'm going to rewrite it as y equals 2x. So I wrote out the equation. I'm going to plug in the value for x to find the missing value for y. I'm going to rewrite it as y equals 2 times 3, and 2 times 3 equals 6. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my chart right here. And then when we graph this, remember that we write points out as x and y. So my first point is going to be 1 and 2, and then my second one is going to be 2 and 4, and then my last point is going to be 3 and 6. So I'm going to come over and graph it. Just a reminder that x is the line that goes left and right, and y is the vertical line. We remember it by why are you so tall? So I'm going to go ahead and start graphing. So I'm going to move over to the right once for my 1, and then up 2. And then that's my first point. My second point is to the right 2, up 4. And then my last one is to the right 3 and up 6. So I went ahead and graphed, I went ahead and I graphed this information, and I completed the table. So we're going to do that one more time. You might be given something that looks similar to this equation now, where you're just like solving for one unknown, and then you're asked to find the equation. So first, in our first example, they gave you the equation, and then you just filled in the table and then graphed it. In the second example, you're going to actually go ahead and find the equation to write it out. And so the table is going to be mostly filled out with one unknown value. So if you guys look, so I have 4, 5, 6, 8 for x, and then for y I have 48. I don't know what this number is, then 6, and then 96. And so when you guys are solving it today, you want to make sure to look at it and look at the x and then at the y and say, how did I get from the x to the y? Well, there are multiple ways that I got from x to y. So from 4 to 48, I could have added 44. I could have multiplied it by 12. Those are a couple of ways that I could do it. With my unknown, obviously I don't know how I did it yet, but I need to find it. And then with the 6 to 72, I could add 66, or 6 goes into 72 if I multiply it by 12. And then 8 into 96, that would be 88. And then, or I could do 8 times 12 will equal 96. And so when I am looking at this, you want to be able to find which way you're doing it all the same every time. Does that make sense? Like, so if you look at the addition sign, so plus 44, plus 66, plus 88, that's not logical because you can't come up with an equation that way. You can come up with an equation. When you see that you're multiplying all of them by 12. Okay, and so what we're doing is we're taking x, and then we're multiplying it by 12. Oops, sorry guys. And that's the way that we find y. So it's going to be y equals x times 12, but if you remember, we're going to rewrite this as y equals 12x. Okay, and so the missing number, or the missing value right here, we would say 5. We would plug it in, and we'd go ahead and plug it in as y equals 5, because that's our x, times 12, and so 5 times 12 equals 60. So our missing value is 60, okay? And then the same thing, we're going to go ahead and graph this. So y... Oh. Can you get her and I'll hold this? Thanks. Sorry guys, Harry Potter is really excited. So remember that y is vertical, x is horizontal, so I'm going to go ahead and come over. When I graph this, I'm actually going to have to get just a little bit creative. Thank you. I'm just going to have to get a little bit creative with how I set my numbers up, because as you can see, like, I obviously don't have 96 lines to move up, so I can count by 12s on it. So I can do 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96. Now I can't think of, 102, and then, is that right? 102? Nope. Sorry, guys. It's really early here. 108. Am I adding 12? 2, 4, 6, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. 108. And then when I'm numbering along the side, I can number it just like normal, like 1, 2, or actually I'm gonna double count. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so now I'm ready to graph it. So I'm gonna go over to 4. Harry Potter, no. I'm gonna go over to 4 and then up to 48. There, that's my first one. 4 and 48, and nope, and I can't even write. Okay, then 5 and 60, and then 6 and 72, and 8 and 96. So I'm going to go over to 5, and then up to 60, and then to 6 and 72. Then I'm going to go to 8 and 96. Okay. So today, this is what we're working on. We're going to be working with equations, filling in tables, and then graphing them. I think on 9.2, it's just filling in tables and then creating equations. And then 9.4, it's where you get to graph them. Okay. You guys are going to do awesome on it today. Good luck. I miss your faces. See you next week. Bye, guys.